All right, we've been waiting for this day for quite some time. The pace car gonna come into pit road, and our first ever Twitch chat Daytona 500 is gonna get underway. Ricky Bobby on pole leads him to green. First stage of the Daytona 500 will be 65 laps, as will the second. And then a run to the end with 70 laps to go. You got Rick Mast in the 14 on the outside, gonna get pushed by Austin. And already we have our first lead change, but I don't think it's gonna stick around too long. Austin on the outside lane gonna drop to the bottom. Who's gonna lead lap 1 of the Daytona 500? Right now, it looks like Travis Pastrana will. And yes, indeed, he will. The 60 car leads lap 1. So, after some additional testing from what we saw in the Budweiser shootout, I do think we're still going to see those couple car breakaway type deals. However, with some tweaking to the AI skill, it's actually really interesting because now it's certainly possible for them to get caught. Now, they might be out in front for a little while, but I do think that will change things for the better. Coming around to complete lap 2, Mark Martin has nudged ahead. And the 6 car will lead the second lap. And the good news for everybody is that Nikita Mazepin has already fallen outside of the top 10, and Smee is nowhere to be found inside there either. Natalie Decker in the lead at Daytona. I never thought I'd see the day appropriately in the White Claw car. That lead didn't last long. We have a chat leader, B $sign, to the point. Will Power in behind him and Rick Mast. Oh, problems! Problems behind! What happened there? There's not a yellow going to be thrown by the game, but oh my lord! We will have to throw a yellow. Because of that, how many laps have I seen at Daytona? And yet, I have never once seen the AI crash. So here we are on the replay. Oh, a big push from Ricky Bobby. It looked like that whole inside line stacked up. And I don't really know. I mean, I'm going to assume the 48 got the worst of it. That right front tire is not spinning. All right, so coming through turn 4, we'll see the stack up there on the inside, and bang. Now, that wasn't as hard of a hit as I really thought, or it really looked like. However, that right front tire not spinning at all. Let's see if we can't. Yeah. Not good. Not good at all. Now, we did give each of the cars in this race a fast repair for silly things like that. The pace car back down the pit lane. We have many more incidents like that. We could be here even longer than I think we're already going to. Back underway for lap 8 at Daytona. It is a chat car in the lead. Yo Gamer in the 56. And Martin Truex Jr. Tricon scheme. Pushed by the 14 and Rick Mast, who's certainly looking to be a presence in the front of the field early. Of the cars that have really been up front, I mean, early on, he's the only one that's stuck around. That's one way to say it. We're 3 wide back, about mid-pack, and trying to get 3 wide at the front of the pack. Jacques Villeneuve was trying to make a move in the orange Hezebird car. R.I.P. Team Hezeberg. I was actually kind of excited about that team. Now they're just like, nah, I ain't coming back. Rick Mast with a move to the outside and a new leader here on lap 9. Leads will never last for long. And look at that! Caleb's already up front. Yo Gamer with a move to the outside, jumps up in front of Will Power, and will retake the lead. Just continue to kind of swap that top spot for the time being. Dollar sign to the bottom. Tony Stewart pushed by Jordan on the high side. Have to think eventually those cars will get to the front, and there goes Stewart. However, Jordan's got no one to push her there, so might fall back a little bit. What did Darrell Waltrip call the middle at Daytona? The sucker hole? Might be what we have going on right now. Gonna pick up a friend in Haley Deegan in the middle. Tony Stewart will lead lap 10, but the other orange car of Jacques Villeneuve looking threatening for the lead. They got a group of 4 cars on the outside. Lucas Dale Jr. and was that Juan Pablo Montoya? No, that's Bill Elliott right in behind there. But Montoya bringing up the back of this front group right now. Kind of seeing a situation almost like what happened when the caution occurred back there. That back group started to back up a little bit. Stay green for now. No issues for the moment. And look at Evo up to 3rd. Come on, Evo. We'll work together. That's fine. Caleb, you jump up here too. If anyone's going to make that pass, it'll be the 24 car, and Evo will, for the moment, take the lead, but I'm looking threatening on the outside, and Rick Mast, who just refuses to leave the top 5, really, pushed me to the front, all just to be opportunistic and take the lead away from me as we take lap 13. Ricky Bobby, after being involved in the early incident, is back up in the front of the field, your pole sitter. Ash right in behind me. Judging by what happened before stream, or I guess during the intro of stream today, that's a very dangerous place for Ash to be right now, for everybody behind. Ricky Bobby leads. I tried to drop down to the bottom. There wasn't space to do so. I've seen more reckless aggression from the AI early on in this race than I've seen in any bit of testing. As I'm down the sucker hole, and Ash for the moment will lead. Lucas pushed by Austin, coming up the middle here with Pat, Travis Pastrana, and Squid on the outside. And a black 3 car to the lead at Daytona, but only for a split second. Travis Pastrana, who led the opening lap of this race, back up front now. And back to the lead. Opens the door up on the outside, though, for our Mazda Series winner, Squid, who leads lap 14. Good to see Smee back where he belongs, DFL. Got some crazy 3-wide racing here in the early stages. A lot of aggression from the AI, which is quite surprising. A couple of red cars at the front of the field. In fact, 3 of them. Pablo Montoya, D. Kuzmik, and Red Wings. At the front for the moment. No, and in fact, none of the AI is smart enough really to do much of anything except drop to the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, his poor tail looks a little stupid, but oh well. Juan Pablo Montoya, conveniently in the jet dryer scheme, was leading here at Daytona. On lap 16, 50 laps to go in this opening stage of the Daytona 500. I'll tell you what, my car might be a menace. Feels like there's a couple moments already in this race that have just been really, really dicey. Pretty much involving my car. Now, the good news is that we are going to see some incidents in this race that most cars shouldn't have picked up any damage from that lap 5 incident. So fast repairs still available to them. Your car died? Not yet. Just shuffled to the back, right in behind Nikita Mazepin and in front of Smee. Jeff in the Ferrari that's not a Ferrari leads that lap, I do believe. It's all about being there in the end. And you know what's great? I know we did have that bit of a break in there with the yellow. Haven't seen a single breakaway yet, which for entertainment's sake is probably a good thing. Squid, your leader in the 316. You know what? Let's take a little ride around with Squid here as we come to take lap 19. I know he's lost the lead, but gonna go to good old-fashioned gyro cam. Remember when Fox brought this thing out? It was so cool. So you get a feel for the banking there. We're gonna see Squid completely drop through the field, almost assuredly, being on the inside. Just look at that freight train up on the high side and speed difference. I'm not sure why the AI's default is just to always drop to the bottom. There's just so much more speed to be had on the high side. So while we were riding around with Squid, Mark Martin, Will Power, and Rick Mast have formed up, and it certainly looks like they're trying to break away. But with the aggression that we've seen early on in this race, will somebody try and pass? Or can Bobby Labonte and the rest of this pack catch him? And Bobby Labonte, who is just miserably slow in qualifying, up here in 4th already. Caleb joining the party. He's back up front again. And I think we've avoided the breakaway, at least for the time being. Perhaps, and I mean, yes, that is the case. Shorter distance, riding the yellow line, burning less fuel. However, it's counterproductive if that's the reason to want to lead in the first place. Well, we're starting to get a little bit of a breakaway going here. Martin, Power, and Rick Mast. They're certainly threatening it. However, there is a nice line there with Caleb, Haley Deegan, and I want to say that's Rowdy Burns, and it is. Caleb trying to make a move to the outside, and then they just hung him out to dry. However, I do think yet again, breakaway prevented. Oh, Jesus Christ. Smee is making his way up the field. Take a look at the 23 car. This thing was last a minute ago, but we do finally get to take a good look at the new look for Smee. Couldn't use the familiar green color. Didn't want to get any confusion with Ash and have anybody try and commit a war crime. So, big breakaway, at least in terms of, we got a couple different packs forming now. Power is going to the lead. Caleb looking threatening on the outside. Austin trying to form a third line up top. And how about Gundy at the very back of this pack, trying to get the lap back naturally. Using the faster pair, putting it to good use for the time being. For the moment, and has Evo lost the draft, or is he just at the tail end of this pack? He's flirting with losing the draft. Actually, I think he's going to be, well, it's going to be tough to say. I'm not sure if he's going to be all right. Now, some sliver of good news if Evo is to lose the draft. We're not that far away from our first green flag pit stops of the race. Although that's really going to be interesting with the cars that pitted on lap 5, lap 6, whatever it was. As it looks like he's avoided losing the draft for the time being. Back up at the front of the field, Red Wings will lead lap 24. Better hope a yellow doesn't come out during the pit cycle, because that could really throw a wrench into things. Good to see that the majority of the field is all together for the moment. The top, I want to say 22 cars are all together. And the ones that aren't all together in this group do have some friends. So that's good. You shouldn't be in danger of getting caught by this big pack. There's 4 cars trying to break away for the time being. Red Wings, Squid, Dollar Sign, Natalie Decker. However, Will Power has joined that group. I think the perfect storm for those breakaways is 2 to 3 cars. That has the potential to work. You get 4 of them or more in there, that's when things are going to go wrong and your breakaway is going to fail because some cars are going to attempt to pass. Which I think, well, no one's going to come up to help me, so for the moment it might just work. However, they're getting reeled in just a little bit. We have both Bobby and Terry Labonte. Bobby Labonte in the green Interstate Batteries car, Terry Labonte in the Tony the Tiger Kellogg's number 5. Fastest lap. Yeah, that's not good. Well, breakaway threatening again. That inside line's got to stay true right now. Otherwise, these 3 cars can certainly start to gap everybody. They're certainly trying. It's raining in turn 2. You know, I don't really know if weather's enabled for this one, but I would certainly doubt it. Don't exactly have rain tires for Daytona. Well, another breakaway has failed. However, Red Wings continues to lead, and they're just not doing themselves a lot of favors, this top group. Lost my water bottle. If you did not notice, there is a channel point redemption to put it out. However, it's limit to 2 for the entire race, not per person in general. And this early on in the race, I certainly don't know if you would want to use something like that. Or if you would want to use it at all. But we have finally gotten a lead change. B$ leads for the moment. Will Power coming hard on the outside there. And to the lead goes Will Power yet again. As we take lap 30. And really at any point now, we could start to see pit stops. Oh, that looks scary there with Rick Mast, but we made it. I would be a little bit worried if I was that secondary group. Let's go back and take a look and see what they're doing. I mean, kind of the same deal. There's 2 relatively large packs happening right now. But you wouldn't think this group is going to lose a whole lot more time. That really only happened just because they got separated from the lead group and they are too dumb for their own good. Back up to the front. Kuzmik is taking the lead away from Will Power. Well, and that's exactly so. I certainly wouldn't expect any of those, if they get used at all, because they are expensive. I certainly wouldn't expect to see any of those until stage 3. But then again, it is at the discretion of the chatter, who happens to have 15,000 channel points. YoGamer, myself, and Austin have lost touch with this lead group, and if we just got in a single file line, could go catch him, but me and Austin want to run side by side for some stupid reason. Which is actually going to hurt, because now we might even use YoGamer. I wasn't really sure how expensive to make it. We could make it a little bit more realistic, but it's still going to be limit 2 regardless. That back group is still losing time, and I just have to imagine it's just because of the way that they're racing. Certainly not an efficient way to get around here. They're just slipstreaming each other trying to lead this group, which is just silly. Now that's a little bit more like it. If you just stayed like that, you wouldn't lose any more time, and in fact, you might catch up. But instead, we're going to continue to do a little bit of this. Ash and Evo side by side. What could possibly go wrong? Jesus. Another close moment with Ricky Bobby back there and Bill Elliott. I mean, look at all the chaos that's happening back here. No wonder they're all the way in the back. But back up to the front of the field. Oh, no, Smee's in here. Certainly not what anybody wants to see. Lead change. It's B$. Takes the point again. And as soon as I say that, it's Will Power. And then it's probably about to be Squid pushed by Rick Mast, except Rick Mast left him out to dry. So Will Power will lead the lap. Smee up there, we need a caution. He's up there all right. Not really making any moves. He's just kind of stuck in the back for the moment, but he's up there. And for Smee, that's all he needs. He just needs to be in close proximity to really fuck shit up. Well, can we get a what? Because Squid is taking the lead. Mercifully for those cars behind, Will Power tries to make a move. And so many instances where you would think that they were about to really try and break away from this group again. But right now, that is not the case. They just continue to try and pass. 30 laps to go here in stage number 1. Early favorite, I think, for laps led might be Red Wings. Most laps led, I guess I should say. You got Rowdy Burns up in the top, Natalie Decker to the lead. Mark Martin as well. Mark has led a good chunk of the early stages of this race. And you've got Gundy still fighting on the outside. Caleb pushing the 48. Trying to get one of those laps back naturally. And if the 48 does somehow lead this group at the end of the stage, you've gotten the lap back, then you're 1 lap down, the stage caution goes, and all of a sudden, you're back on the lead lap. Uh-oh. Decker, Red Wings, Power, and Squid trying to get some distance on the rest of this group, and right now, I'd say they're gonna do it. However, it's not gonna last very long, and pit strategy is certainly going to be chaotic. You never know. I mean, there's no manufacturer alliances here in this type of scenario. They're all just gonna pit whenever the AI overlords tell them to. Oh, and speaking of pit stops, first movement, Pat down pit road all by himself, which cannot be very good. It didn't look like anybody came down pit road with him. Yeah, about 43-ish laps, I want to say, is the farthest they actually can go. However, those other cars only have a 5-lap advantage. I'm not really sure why anyone that didn't pick up any damage did that, as we do have some movement here from this breakaway. Will Power broke out to the outside, and that's going to let that big pack get back up to them a little bit. Nikita Mazepin had also come down the pit lane and will go a lap down, which is awful news if you're Gundy. Awful news. These 4-car breakaways looking like they're going to be doomed to fail, because now we're 3 wide. However, are these cars about to come down the pit lane? You do have that as a possibility. No, none of them did. They broke it all up on their own for some reason. Now, none of this can be good here. You got 3 cars, 3 wide, all by themselves. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to go a lap down for the moment as well. Yellow flag at this stage of the race could be absolutely catastrophic for a lot of cars. Mid-pit cycle, that'd be horrendous. Now, the wave around would help out a good chunk in that, so we shouldn't get too unbelievable. But with this 3 wide nonsense happening here, Natalie Decker's broken away a little bit. as this stretch of the race is about to be potentially chaos. Got a big pack formed up again. Squid to the outside of Natalie Decker for the lead. For the moment, and how about Gundy trying to get that lap back? And for the moment, does. Oh, that could be huge down the stretch. Will Power, D. Kuzmic to the pit lane. Rick Mast is your leader. Stuck right in behind the number 48 of Gundy, a lap down. After the hard hit on lap 5. This is all kinds of a mess. Green flag pit stops with no order. Oh, the 48's gonna leave the bottom open. Now, the 48 actually won't be able to make it to the end of the stage. However, will be able to make it a little while longer. Came out of the pits on lap 7. So Natalie Decker is your leader. One of the few who have yet to pit. And she's gonna do that with not a lot of friends. Really gonna be interesting to see how this shakes out when it's all said and done. You gotta imagine Natalie's coming this time. We did run a couple laps under caution, which could extend the fuel run. As, oh boy, that could spell absolute chaos for this race. These cars in front, we don't know who came down the pit lane or who didn't. With the potential to go and put a whole chunk of cars a lap down. Whoa! I don't know what that was, but I didn't like it. I wonder if Natalie Decker's just going to run it out of gas. Rowdy Burns has taken the lead. Got Pastrana swerving all over the place. Evo's got no friends. He's now a lap down, I do believe. Yes, he is. First car, 1 lap down. As you got a good chunk of the field right now a lap down. All because Rowdy Burns decided he wanted to stay out a little while longer. Oh my goodness, a yellow flag could trap over half the field a lap down. You gotta hope that, I mean, these top 8 cars pit soon. I mean, they can't go that much farther. They only got a 5-lap advantage on fuel, so they're gonna have to come down pit road here. And you're already pushing like a full fuel run right now. I mean, you just gotta wonder when these stops are gonna occur. I'm fairly certain Bill Elliott ran it out of gas. Now, he's parked on the apron, so we're gonna let that go. And there they go. Rowdy Burns to the pit lane. I'm not sure who's going to inherit. Oh, God. Oh, no. Smee is your current leader. I don't think Smee's pitted yet either. There's just no way. I'm assuming Bill Elliott's car has been cleared. Will any other cars run out of gas here in this initial run? Smee is still not yet coming down the pit lane. I'm across to lead lap 48. Running 3 wide, but with cars just scattered all over the track. Gotta imagine this will sort itself out. Ash right in front of the leader in Smee. I do believe the 46 is on the lead lap. I don't know why you would make that move to the high side. Smee is the last car that hasn't pitted, and down pit road he comes. Actually, I lied. Jeff hadn't pitted either. So, leader on track is actually going to shape up to be Rowdy Burns here on lap 50. Bill Elliott did indeed run it out of gas. He had to get towed. He's 2 laps down. Now, if your pit strategy wasn't complete ass, you should have gotten your lap back. You got 29 cars on the lead lap right now. As long as you pit with somebody, you're going to be fine. But if you pit on your own, as we saw in Austin's case and a couple of these other cars, I have no idea, by the way, what's going on with Bill Elliott. It said he was 2 laps down. All of a sudden, he's 1. He is back out on track, just in front of the leader, Rowdy Burns here. That second lap yet again. Lap 51. We are getting very close to the end of stage number 1 of the Twitch Chat Daytona 500. 15 laps to go in this first stage. And if you missed the Discord announcement a little bit earlier today, stage points will be a thing. Top 10 will earn points for this first stage. Is the rest of the field packed up? Kind of. Yeah, we've got a much more intriguing race going on back here. And this is actually the race for second place. Rick Mast currently holds that spot. So not many cars trapped the lap down. It looks like D. Kuzmic, Terry Labonte, Bill Elliott, who we saw the issues with. Every other car has cycled around and has gotten back on the lead lap. Flag pit stops. They're going to be chaos throughout this race, that's for sure. Now, please tell me nobody's going to make a second pit stop in this stage. It'd be the dumbest thing ever, and then you would hope that every car would be down pit road when this stage does end. Where's Evo at? Let's go on board with Evo. Why not? Oh, that's not Evo. That's me. Here's Evo's on board. And behind Willpower, Rick Mast in the picture as well. Well, they're running full throttle, so that's good. Or at least mostly full throttle. Saw you go hit the rev limiter there for a second. Bill Elliott has indeed fallen 2 laps down. I wonder if Rowdy Burns caught him. Yep, sure did. So the 94 and the 48 there, 2 laps down. Mark Martin is the first car 1 lap down. But we might just be looking at the race for the stage win right here, unfortunately. And it looks like a couple other cars have dropped a lap down as well. Jordo and D. Kuzmic riding around, yeah. Not a great showing early on in this one for New Beginnings Veterinary's NASCAR debut, unfortunately. Mark Martin trying to get back around Burns, but Bill Elliott and Gundy not really playing along. Pretty large gap, 7 seconds from first to second place. And now 10 laps to go in this opening stage. Yes. Yeah, lack of preparation by, actual official business. Team didn't show up to the track ready today. Now Mark Martin and Gundy have kind of dropped off a little bit. Bill Elliott 2 laps down. Could be beneficial in the long run if the 94 was to get by the 51. And the 6 with a move to the outside. Will the 48 follow? No! Oh, that seems like a terrible choice. Let's head back to the secondary group, which actually has a breakaway of its own. That's why we haven't seen second place change. I've held on to that for a little while. Well, you got those 2 cars side by side there, so we're gonna get caught if that continues. Plenty of chat cars inside the top 10 for the moment. Vidal sitting 3rd, 4th, swapping with Ricky Bobby. Squid's up here. Caleb is. Still just side by side in behind there. Oh, not anymore. Oh, Ricky Bobby trying to get around me. Vidal not going to go with him. Check back. No, that's not a pack either. That's a 3-car breakaway. You see why we had to have the stages now? We got to pack everybody back up and let the chaos ensue from there. Ooh, some dangerous pushing there on Squid from Pastrana and Jacques Villeneuve. As it appears, we're about ready to get things going again for 2nd through 10th. In this stage. Rowdy Burns pretty much has the stage win all but locked up. He has dropped off from that lead a little bit, and this pack is catching him, but I don't know if they've got enough time. I mean, I guess it depends on how long things continue like this up front. And actually, the 43 and the 33 have caught back up. Rowdy Burns going to get back around, and the 43 trying to get back on the lead lap. For the moment, that will happen, but the 33 kind of got left out to dry. Never mind, back down to the bottom, and look at the progress that's being made here. 4.5 seconds now to Rowdy Burns. Pack is charging hard. Starting to separate. Nope. They're pulling them yet again. However, we need to stop Stop doing things like that. We thought this stage was just about decided here, when that is not the case at all. Lead down to 4 seconds. With now 5 to go in the stage. I mean, they've drawn in about a second on that Rowdy Burns lead in the course of the last lap. It is certainly conceivable. They get on the straightaways and they just start pulling in. Lead now down to 3 seconds. Will Power and Caleb trying to get away, which could at least still make the race for the stage interesting, even if this whole pack doesn't catch up. I mean, they're gonna catch him. Over a second. That last time around, as the lead is now under 2 seconds. Will Power and Caleb working together, and the rest of the pack following. Oh yeah, they're gonna get him all right. And it's actually Gundy. 2 laps down, 1 lap down, depends. Really helping out the rest of the field here. Getting the leaders side by side. And now the race for the stage is definitely on. But if you're the 48, this is actually terrible. Because you're going to get shuffled back in the mix here. Go back 2 laps down. The only car 2 laps down. Rowdy Burns does still hold the lead of that inside line. Now no longer. Squid will drop down. Caution flag will fly the moment the leader completes lap 65. So at that point, the stage will end. Now, I'm not sure. I think that's probably Jordo and Kuzmak up there that have fought back past the leader. They got to continue to work together as to not get caught by this group. Is up in the front pack. Red Wings will drop down to the bottom. It leaves Caleb as the leader of the high side. And Ricky Bobby, 64 laps later, has made his way back to the front yet again. And will take the lead as we will take the white flag in stage number 1. I think those 2 cars up in front are going to be safe. They will get to start stage 2 on the lead lap. Travis Pastrana, who led in the early stages of this one, leads for the moment. If I were Gundy, I'd hold that outside lane right now, but that's not going to be the case. And oh, no. Oh, how chaotic this could be. Smee to the lead. As we're out of turn 4, coming to take the green and white checkered flag on stage 1, it's going to be Jacques Villeneuve who wins stage 1. How about the 27 out of nowhere? I think we can all say with plenty of confidence and maybe not confidence. I don't think that's the word. What we're trying to say is thank you, Jacques Villeneuve. And your stage 1 winner, Jacques Villeneuve, will lead us to the green. Smee on the outside. A whole bunch of cars just did not get going back there. No idea what that was about. I don't know if this whole front group just caught everybody off guard or what exactly happened, but Oh, boy. Smee drops down to the lead. And I mean, what? What just happened? What on earth just happened? We have 2 cars a lap down here in this race. Bill Elliott, who's 1 lap down. Gundy, who's 2. However, this group right here is already delving into the chaos just a little bit. Hopefully that group back there avoids it. Somebody in the middle of the pack just did not get going and completely screwed over that secondary group. I mean, just more than half the field got stuck back in that shit. See if they're able to catch back up here. I certainly hope so. That's a really rough way to start stage number 2. That was the whole point of the stages, was so everyone was going to be back packed up together again. It looks like we might survive. We might all get grouped up. Does appear that the gap is closing up a little bit. Rowdy Burns leads from Jacques Villeneuve and Ricky Bobby for the moment. Was that a block attempt there from Rowdy Burns? Is Rowdy Burns gonna try and just go nuts here today? They're certainly catching up, at least some of that secondary group, Evo and myself included in that. Whoa, that looked very, very close between Jordo and Evo there. Looked like somebody just about got left reared. Left reared? Right reared. Let's try that. Caleb is your leader on lap 73. Part of that secondary pack has caught up. Ash leading the second pack back there for now, as they continue to just slipstream themselves further and further away, really. The more that they fight, the worse it's going to be for all of them back there. Now, I don't think 2 cars are going to be able to really get away like Caleb and Travis Pastrana are trying to do right now. I just don't think it's very likely. Pastrana with a move to the outside, and that's why. Pastrana lost all his friends. He'll get shuffled. Wasn't able to jump up back in front of Ricky Bobby, and Caleb is happy leading 1 lap. Now he's potentially going to lead a couple. Pretty much single file for the moment. The 43 makes a move. Now, wait a minute. Oh, no, never mind. I was losing track of the ticker there a little bit. Yep, that is for position. The 43, after being a lap down in stage 1 at various points, is back up inside the top 10 for the moment. Second pack has lost touch, safe to say, and we could be flirting with a little bit of something here. However, Evo's going to catch up all this group. There's just no way that 6 cars stay nose to tail for very long, as evidenced. Squid will try and go for the lead. Rowdy Burns flirted with going with him. And now Squid's got some help there on the outside lane, or at least did. Evo back down to the bottom. Caleb leading a good chunk of laps right here, as nothing can really get going on the outside. And if you missed the Bud Shootout, we talked about it then. Caleb since we started doing chat series in any sort of racing, Caleb has owned Daytona. One in the Mazdas, one in Gran Turismo. And leading on lap 77, conveniently, because of the car number. Stage 1 winner, Jacques Villeneuve to the outside. Lead the outside lane now. Dollar-sign going to try and make a move, and this is the first threat to Caleb's lead in quite some time, as the 36 will drop down. He's got a bit too much of a lead there. Villeneuve is certainly going to get this lead back. Drop down to the bottom. And now, I really don't know when to expect green flag pit stops that could really throw a wrench into some things. It's me and the 23-year leader, but just way too much unpredictability. These cars in the front. We do have another little threat to catch up with this pack. Halfway in between the two larger packs is about 4 cars that have now tried to catch back up. Caleb leads again. Ricky Bobby, Rowdy Burns will move to the outside. Ricky Bobby goes all the way up to the 3rd lane. And Rowdy Burns leads lap 78. I mean, they're racing here like this is the final lap. I mean, to be fair, they've been doing that the entire race. Caleb just got freight trained right there by Smee. This is unorganized chaos right now. Now 77 seemed awfully slow there. Looks like he's going to be okay, and look who leads! The 24 of Evo to take lap 80. Our Mazda finale winner now on point at Daytona. And I'm assuming Austin is saying ass pants because he's in with this lead group. And look what's happening back there. Does that pack look closer to you? That, and it's all of them. Eagle leads from Smee, Dale Jr., Jacques Villeneuve, Squid, Tony Stewart. Somebody's going to make a move here out of turn 4. No. They stay in a line for the moment. Interesting. This 6-car group, if they stay stuck together, who knows how far out in front they could get. But I just have no faith that they're actually going to do it. Somebody's going to try and do something. But not yet. Really, really surprised to see that. It's not going to last. Don't get too comfortable. And this is what we talked about a little bit. When you get this many cars trying to break away, eventually one makes a move and screws up the whole thing. Oh, yeah, that's something. And yeah, and there it is. And not only that, not only has Evo lost the lead there, he might lose touch with this lead group. Jacques Villeneuve back to the front as the chaos has ensued. Well, it's fine because you're going to get Smee here. At least for the moment. Jacques Villeneuve, again, your stage 1 winner. Back up to the point for now. And Smee could have just completely messed up this lead group right here because you got Tony Stewart on the outside. That's going to slow down the cars on the inside. Evo and Smee are too wide. And if there's some organization in the group led by Natalie Decker, which for the moment there is, They will catch up. That back group, though, I'm not really sure. It's now Squid and Evo side by side. You know, Evo just want to lift off the gas for a second and, you know, get him behind the 316 there. Do not let Smee win this race, please. Tony Stewart and Smee break up a little bit. Now, this could be a little bit of a problem if Jacques Villeneuve and Dale Jr. just stay nose to tail like this. We have broken up massively here. And I'm assuming that we missed some pit stops. I see Caleb in front of the leaders here. I guess those cars that pitted early on just committed to the strategy. Now, you really have to imagine we're going to see pit stops at the stage 2 break. Jacques Villeneuve to the pit lane, which leaves Dale Earnhardt Jr. all by himself, and I don't think he's close enough to catch Caleb and Pastrana for the time being. However, they're side by side, which is a terrible idea. Check back with Smee. He's alone. And, oh boy. Here comes, well, just about everybody else. The top 2 have no help. And this massive group is hunting them down. They're not going to survive much longer, which is going to be great news for almost everybody. Whoa, nearly problems. Haley Deegan got sideways. We stay green. Everybody kept it mostly straight. Smee got hunted down. Somebody didn't wave their hand out the window. And now Dale Jr. all alone and getting caught rapidly. Pit stops about to occur. Just look at the closing rate they're catching him at. One straightaway later, everybody's here. So let's just hope everybody that's coming onto pit road does so safely. And in this lead group right now, that's nobody. Haley Deegan went to the pit lane. Interesting to see if there'll be any damage there. Pitting from 18th place. Oh, God. I'm leading for the moment. That's a terrifying thought. Evo's back up in the mix now. The 2 lap down cars are in this lead group for the moment. There you go. I didn't even lead a lap. Juan Pablo Montoya has made the move. All right, pit stops this time. Only Rowdy Burns. Oh, that is probably horrendous news for the 51 car. Smee leads the 94. Up on top now, not for position. All the way back in 32nd place. But he is back on the lead lap with that move. Not going to be able to keep it. But he was back on the lead lap for a split second. Any more pit stops this time by? No. And how about this? El Jefe to the lead. Haven't seen the 55 car much at all today. Threatening with a little bit of a breakaway, but there's just... I mean, everybody's got to pit in short order here. So realistically, it's not going to do us much good. Jeff will pit from the lead by himself, which is not a good idea. And yeah, we could see that again. That's the reason Bill Elliott is in the spot that he's in right now. He ran it out of gas in the opening stage. We didn't throw the yellow. One, because we were mid-pit cycle, and that really could have screwed things up. But because he wasn't actually stopped on track, so decided to just let it go. Terry Labonte, who got the free pass after the stage 1 break, during the stage 1 break, now leads. You are never out of this thing. Oh no, another solo pit stop. This time it's Red Wings. And when you thought stage 1 was chaotic, we're taking a step towards flat out losing cabin pressure here. Natalie Decker, your leader, the 94, back on the lead lap for the time being. Terry Labonte going to try and make a move. He's got some help coming, so that might be a good decision. Well, you were in the early wreck. You just didn't get any damage. Saw Smee drop to the pit lane that time. Terry Labonte leads from Dale Jr. Leading chatter is Yo Gamer in the Bass Pro Shops 56. Stage 2 ends lap 130, and then it's 70 laps to the finish. So still a good chunk of time here in stage 2. And once pit stops fully cycle through, I guess we'll see where things stand. But that group that never really caught back up to the lead pack, I don't really know what the best case scenario for those cars is. No pit stops this time. Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 car, not on fire here at Daytona, has taken the lead. Need some damage similar to what I had in the final Mazda race. That was funny. Well, you're up here in the lead group right now. I know that's not where you want to be. How about an onboard with Austin? Why not? The club car ad up at the top corner. How fitting, given that he's the reason it's even there. Natalie Decker, the white car on the outside, your current leader. The last car in the lead lap for the moment, but eventually these cars will have to come down pit road. It's just not this lap either. Take lap 95, Yo Gamer out in front as we are nearing the halfway point of this Daytona 500. That's also true. It just looks good up there, too. I was going to say, Evo better drop down to the bottom or risk losing this lead group. Oh no. I have made the terrible decision to pit alone. There have been a lot of pit stops like that could completely flip this field. I mean, all it takes is just about every single one of these cars up front right here to pit alone or with maybe one other car. And if that other group stayed together and they pitted as one just big, massive pack for the most part, this entire field could flip on its head. Dale Jr. leads for the moment. Pit stops from the lead group yet. Now the good news is nobody has lost a lap yet here in this stage. Evo retakes the lead. Bill Elliott coming around the outside, but that's not for position. Terry Labonte on the outside is. Bill Elliott, I'll tell you this, doing a great job of staying in the front of this pack for the most part. Right as I say that, he does go back down the lap. Not making up any ground on the cars that have pitted yet. I mean, let's go take a look. Austin's the last car in this pack. Pat and Mark Martin are all alone. Bobby Labonte is with both of the Jordos. Rowdy Burns, he leads a good group here. Is there a big pack anywhere out here? Not really, it's just a whole bunch of smaller ones. There's your lead group, Juan Pablo Montoya coming to the line to take lap 99. He actually got passed by Yo Gamer on the outside. Somebody in this lead group is going to run it empty, aren't they? It certainly feels like they are staying out far too long. Probably the whole group. Let's hope not. Let's certainly hope not. Nothing good can come from that. Oh, 2 cars. Whoa. Pitting with a partner. Who could have imagined? Now that partner might be 2 laps down, but you got somebody close by. Just continue to follow or fall off. Like flies almost. Now we haven't really kept up with anybody else. Pat and Mark Martin 4 seconds back. It's hard to imagine that they would have come down pit road. Oh no, Austin, turn away. Never mind, you can look again. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads. Pit stops from the lead group, and the leader at the halfway point, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Say who has the fastest lap right now. I think everybody has a 44-second lap to their credit, somewhere in the 44-second bracket. Austin from Will Power. Power to the outside. Pit stops yet again. You would think so. I don't know what sort of hybrid witchcraft this lead pack has. You would have thought they would have had to pit by now. I mean, we are dangerously approaching the max fuel run of any car. I mean, it's gotta happen soon. Evo's gonna drop down to the bottom, maybe signaling a pit stop this time. Terry Labonte will go. Will Power leads from Juan Pablo Montoya. And I mean, there's a whole slew of cars in turns 1 and 2 here that are getting ran down. Let's bring the gap back up. You've got the top 8 within 4 seconds of each other, and then myself in 10th, 40 seconds behind. So something is going to happen here. Montoya and Dale Jr. flirting with the outside. That certainly doesn't look like they're coming down pit road. Somebody's going to run it out of gas. Max Verstappen lost a lap somehow. I wonder if he had. Verstappen showing a lap down as well as Jeff, so a few cars had some funky happen. I mean, at this point, now nobody pitted right at the end of stage number 1. So that makes this really interesting because this is from lap 70 onward that these cars have not come down pit road. At least, I mean, I have no idea how these cars are still running. And there's just so much shuffling in this group here that when they do come down pit road and the rest of the field, which I do think is now just about grouped up from myself on back, there's a good chunk of us all running together. And then there's that secondary group back there, not too far behind. This is our lead pack for the moment. Doesn't look like we lost any to the pit lane that time around. All this because we just had to have a caution on lap 5 that really messed up the pit strategy, I think, this entire race. So we have no idea what's going to be happening. I mean, until this one ends. I am thinking that some cars did run out of gas and we just missed it. Would explain the couple extra cars that have fallen a lap down in this race. Well, the guy that didn't even want to win leads this group for the moment, and now Pat has made the move to the pits. Here comes Dale Jr. all by himself, and they continue to pit one at a time in this lead group, which is really going to mess things up when they do rejoin. Like I said, I really think this thing is going to flip on its head and actually flip back to where we were in the end of stage 1. Look who's up front. Jacques Villeneuve and Rowdy Burns. Sitting 8th and 9th right now. And Evo's going to fall off, but he pits with a friend. Juan Pablo Montoya comes with him. So it's Austin and Will Power and Yo Gamer, the last cars who have yet to pit here in stage 2. Tony Stewart rejoining. He's going to lose a lap. Or is he out of gas? Maybe. Whoa, we might have some problems here. Have we had some cars run out of gas? Mid-pack and break this whole thing up? Oh, goodness. Smee looking awfully slow. And they're going to be all right as the remaining 3 cars come down pit road. So, for the moment, Juan Pablo Montoya and Evo are going to be 1 and 2 when we come around this next time by. However, they're getting caught quite rapidly by some other cars. And, yep, here comes the brigade. However, you're going to be in and amongst this lead group, so I think Evo's pit strategy in this one has really been quite good for the most part. And there is the official pass. Actually, that's not the pass for the lead. Austin is your leader. He's on the apron up here. He will lose his spot as the 33 got big time sideways pushed by Dale Jr. And the presence of those cars on the apron really shook things up. 1 laps to go here in stage 2. Now, we had that chaos back there on the backstretch, and now Dale Jr. and D. Kuzmic are trying to run away with it. Bill Elliott hard in the wall, and that is going to have to bring out a yellow flag. This is where we will ride along with the 94, and what happened here? Oh, contact with Villeneuve. And in the wall. Now let's check. All right, well, at least his right front tire is still spinning. A little 16-lap shootout to the end of stage number 2. Like I said, 26 cars on the lead lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads. And into the restart zone, and away we go. And now Red Wings didn't get going on the outside lane, but a much smaller bad restart that time around. And hopefully everybody took a little bit of evasive action and we don't have what happened last time. That 71 just did not get going as D. Kuzmic now leads. 4 car, that McLaren, back up to the front. Yo Gamer, who's been up towards the front of the field a lot here in stage number 2. And how about Pat? Really out of nowhere. Wasn't much of a factor for the majority of the stage. He's now up in the mix. Ash has gotten with Rick Mass trying to get up to the front of the field for the first time since the early stage of this one. Power, and now Mark Martin, your leaders. And Ash has indeed gotten with Rick Mass, and they're back up in the mix now. Gotta like that. I don't want anybody to have just a terrible race all damn day. But don't get too comfortable with your positioning, because I certainly expect chaos to happen here at the end of the second stage. That caution is really gonna change some things in terms of pit strategy. Those cars that pitted, at least I think so. I mean, I don't know. You're kind of risking having to pit twice in the third stage if you do stay out during the stage break. Evo back to the lead, and him and Terry Labonte have fought for the lead a couple different times today. Caleb's back up front. I'm leading the outside lane with Montoya, Yo Gamer, and Jordo, who right now has got to be the first car 1 lap down. Now it's just about holding that position for a little while. Caleb got up on the outside. He's with Tony Stewart, who's really probably out of this thing. Bill Elliott is also up there trying to fight to get his lap back. Up at the point. That'll certainly help out in terms of trying to get that lap back. But you gotta stay up here. Whoa! Oh, I think we're all gonna be okay. Rowdy Burns came down pit road. There were cars all over the place, and that is what's messing things up. I think coming out of turn number 4 is just cars coming to the pit lane. I don't know if it's, you know, the AI is not communicating with each other or what it is. Really messed some stuff up. That's a really strange decision there from Rowdy Burns. I do not get that one. I mean, if you were gonna pit then, why wouldn't you just pit? Wow, there's another car coming down pit road. Jacques Villeneuve. What is this AI pit strategy? It makes no sense. For the first time today, Hailie Deegan leads, but with 11 laps to go here in the stage, we're starting to see pit stops, and I just cannot fathom why that would be the course of action. Trying to get a move going with Caleb. They finally think about pulling out. Kind of messed up that whole inside lane. There goes Pat again. Caleb will follow, but they're going to duck back in line. Squid's coming to the pit lane now. 43 car got to be loving the view. When you're leading the lead pack, I mean, you're not even the first car a lap down anymore if you could hold this, but Hailie Deegan looking to make a move to the outside. Yeah, a couple AI cars are doing what you might call the dumb. And I mean, pits will close at some point. Here before the stage ends, I believe 2 to go. Pits close. Starting to see some separation. Caleb is back out in front. Pat pushing him. On Pablo Montoya and Will Power, who've been up at the front of the field for a good chunk of the day. Hailie Deegan really up front for the first time. Smee's up here as well. You just have to imagine, as Rowdy Burns, that decision to not pit under the yellow and pit during a green flag run, looks like that's going to cost him a lap, which will throw a wrench into the race for the lucky dog position, because if he just gets caught up here at the front of the field and doesn't get shuffled back, all of a sudden, he's got the lucky dog. And that might just happen. Caleb, your leader, stage 2 winds down. Now no longer Pat to the front. What I do believe is a one-off paint scheme for Pat, at least from what he told me. Here for the Daytona 500. Jacques Villeneuve, your stage 1 winner. Also flirting with being put a lap down, and he hasn't LePaged the field because we haven't wrecked. But just completely holds up that inside line. Montoya gonna get shuffled back. Hailie Deegan, your leader. And I mean, and a good chunk of these cars in this lead group here are either a lap down or damn near. Villeneuve just dropped a lap. Rowdy Burns doing exactly what he needs to do. Chilling there on that inside line. Although he does have Jacques Villeneuve to worry about, who just made a move to the outside. Squid also going to join this pack, and the race for the Lucky Dog is now just wide open. Could be anybody's race for that spot. Austin was your leader. Now Will Power will push Jacques Villeneuve back to the lead lap. Whoa, Austin got a little squirrely there. Terry Labonte, who was pitting from back in behind all that. Gotta imagine that was the cause. Smee pushing Villeneuve. Those were 1 and 2 in stage number 1. And they're up here yet again. Smee, your leader. Jacques Villeneuve fighting to stay on the lead lap. For the moment, that will not happen. We have 5 laps to go. 4.5, really, here in the stage. Lucky Dog spot right now to the 43 car. As Villeneuve and Burns have fallen off. D. Kuzmic going to take this opportunity as we're coming to 4 to go on the stage to come down the pit lane. Will Power, your leader. The 43 around the outside. Get back on the lead lap. And actually, wait a second. $sign in the 36. He is also a lap down. So the 2 cars that lead this pack are 1 lap down. We are coming to 3 to go in the stage. Now Haley Deegan will make the move to the pit lane. I don't know if I like that move from the 43 right there. Jumping down to the bottom. Just going to get freight train at a car that you've got to beat to the end of this stage. Just past you. But now getting back around over the 36, knowing that it's the race for the Lucky Dog, trying to get by. Yo Gamer in the 56 leads. Pits should be closed this time by, so if you're gonna make a pit stop, it's gotta happen now, and both Dale Jr. and Austin do come down the pit lane. The 36 making a move for that Lucky Dog spot. 2 to go in stage 2. Will Power to the lead. Stage points up for grabs as well, but also an opportunity to get back in this race. The 43 to the outside, that's gotta happen if you're gonna get back on the lead lap, or at least compete for that Lucky Dog. Now, if the 36 crosses the line first here, then that's all fine and good. We have taken lap 130. 1 to go in stage 2. Will Power leads. 36 going to make a move to the outside again. Pat with the push. Pat getting pushed by the 43. They don't have a lot of help. Now Yo Gamer up top. The 43 looking for the pass, not for position. Yo Gamer leads as we're out of turn 4 to end stage 2. Jacques Villeneuve at the last second will get the Lucky Dog. Oh. Oh, is that painful. Wasn't even in the picture, really. Well, the final stage of the Daytona 500 is about ready to start. The pace car to the pit lane. Unfortunately for the rest of the chatters in the field, you got a two-time Daytona 500 winner at the front in Dale Earnhardt Jr. as we are back to green. 65 to go in the Daytona 500, and there's no funny business off the start. Nobody got off to a bad start this time around, as we are starting to lose some daylight here at Daytona. I don't really know when this race is going to end, but you can certainly tell that the sun's going down. I don't know if we're going to finish in the daylight or not. It is real-time scaling with the accurate date and time of the race set for this Sunday. Complete chaos off the start. We're 3 wide for the lead. Yo Gamer will lead the lap, and Bobby Labonte is back up front. And for the first time in a long time, so is Ash in the 46. Yo Gamer leads for the moment. A 4-car breakaway starting to try and threaten just a little bit. Never mind. Will Power going to go to the outside. Followed by Red Wings, followed by Caleb. Oh, they dart back to the inside. Will Power pushed to the lead by the 77 of Caleb, and Ash is certainly making moves. Pushed up right now by Ricky Bobby, and look who's back in the top 10 for the first time since about lap 1, Nikita Mazepin in the 41. I told you this race could flip on its head, and for the moment it has. 56 of Yo Gamer has been up here, though, for a large portion of this race. Red Wings, for the moment, takes the lead. Bobby Labonte, I don't think he's led today. Ash is all alone up on the high side. There will be a pit stop necessary to make it to the end of this race, and that is really where this race is going to be won or lost, all down to pit strategy, I do believe. Austin's flirting with making it 4 wide back there. The top line kind of fizzling out just a little bit. No, that's Will Power. Rowdy Burns is back leading the second group. Bonnie and Mazepin trying to pull away. 3 wide, about 4 or 5 cars deep in behind. And Ash going to make the move all the way from the top to the bottom as Mark Martin just about ate a wall. Oh my goodness. Well, we could be flirting with some danger here. That's about the first time we've seen something like that happen, really, without a car trying to come down pit road. Now, this breakaway will not work. Will Power is going to be content to, I guess, just ride in line, which is an interesting choice. Go anyone except me. 3 cars on the outside lane. Ash, Red Wings, and Austin. On the inside, you have Labonte, Mazepin, Power, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Yo Gamer, as now the 46 to the front of the field. Drops to the bottom, so that's not going to last long. 71 of Red Wings, who is in the race late when we did the Bud Shootout a couple days ago. And Rick Mast, we haven't seen Rick Mast really since the very early stages of the race, but he's back up front again, as is Ricky Bobby, your pole sitter. Now Travis Pastrana, who was up front early, his race is just about over. He's in fact the last car, last in general, here in this one. That got a little bit dicey there between myself and I want to say Natalie Decker. Terry Labonte leads, a free pass recipient in this race. And most of those cars that you see way, way back there, most of those cars are at least a lap down. Not all of them, but most of them. Lap 143 of this Daytona 500. I'd say we're flirting with a breakaway, but we got too wide at the front of the field as Pat retakes the lead. Evo trying to make some moves on the outside. I guess I'm going to go up and help him. And right when things were starting to fall apart just a little bit, the field gets back up together. Very tough to say when the pit stops will occur here in this final stage. And Caleb back up to the front again, getting to be crunch time. And once again, on this channel at Daytona, there's a green and white car pacing the field. Not for long. Chat cars all over the front of this field. Evo leads. I'll get a push from Will Power. Drop down to the inside. Ash fell to the back of this pack. I don't think it's going to be too concerning about losing the draft, but I suppose you just never know. Yeah, she dropped down to the bottom. Everything will be fine on that front. Well, this can't stand. It won't stand. Nikita Mazepin was your leader. 25 cars on the lead lap in this race. Yeah, it got a little bit chaotic up here at the front of the field for a second. Ash continues to try and really make the outside work. Be quite dangerous, I think, to see that 46 up there as the laps wind down. Terry Labonte, your leader. Austin will make the pass. Drop down to the inside. D. Kuzmin back up front. Is continuing to cycle the lead just all over the place. There goes that inside line. Just freight train. Lap 146 belongs to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Anybody's game for the moment, but I guess I shouldn't say anybody's game. Pit stops lurking. I mean, you and Ricky Bobby did earlier try to commit a war crime a little bit. Caleb pulling away as it's 3 wide. In behind! Problems! I feel like the caution is going to have to come out for that. Big, big trouble. The biggest trouble we've seen today will be our 5th caution. Well, we haven't done this yet in the Daytona 500. We'll head to Blimp Cam to see what happens. And Dale Jr. and Rick Mass just got hooked together and sent D. Kuzmic hard in the wall. Right along with D. Kuzmic. From the chase cam, you'll see the 88 and the 14 get hooked together hard in the wall. Bobby Labonte may have picked up a little bit from that as well. And then, well, the wheels are turning. That was some pretty hard contact with the outside wall there. And now the onboard from D. Kuzmic. Smash, and then Rick Mast kind of got turned in along toward the wall. Almost had a little bit of a chain reaction spin type deal there, but winds up not being the case. As our 5th yellow flag and 3rd for incident has come out here in this one. All right, well, we have 49 laps to go in the Twitch chat Daytona 500 as the green flag flies. It doesn't look like any stupidity off the restart. Everyone looks like they got going just fine. Caleb already to the lead. You got myself, Caleb, and Evo. I mean, you don't count myself in that, of course, but a couple of chatters that have been around on this channel for a long time. Up front here at the end, or at least nearing the end. Pat and Ash lurking as well. Austin on the inside doesn't even want to be here. As Evo in the 24 will take the lead. That is true. I'd rather be about mid-pack. Ash with a push from Pat. Those two had the history from last year when we started the Mazda series. Pat wrecking Ash on pit road. Pushed Ash to the lead, left her out to dry. And that has given the lead to Rick Mast, who was just involved in one of the incidents, but now is back up to the lead. Fast repair coming in handy. Well, you've been around a long time now, too. However, not 2016. I mean, that's how long Caleb's been around. Speaking of, one of the longest followers I have on this Twitch channel, Lucas in the number 9 on the bottom, takes the lead now. Ashendale Jr. trying to make something happen up top. As it does appear, we're going to get, at the very least, a sunset finish here in Daytona. Might even be fully dark by the time this thing ends. So in terms of the pit strategy, those cars that pitted under the yellow flag, the best thing they could see is a yellow. They've got to be hoping for another yellow flag in this. And given that we've only had 3 incident yellows all race, I'm not sure if I like those odds. But if that does happen, then they all of a sudden become the front of the field. You would think with the strategy, because then with those laps under yellow, they might be able to make it to the end. I'm not sure if we've gone on board with Ash once today, but that's one hell of a view. It won't last long, because nothing at Daytona does. As we see Jacques Villeneuve. What a race for Jacques Villeneuve. Stage 1 winner, wound up a lap down, got the free pass at the end of stage 2, and now is back up fighting for the lead. Now the 60 car of Travis Pastrana, the bright yellow, blue, pink thing you see up top there, that is not your leader. It is Jacques Villeneuve, the orange car right in behind. A little breakaway threatening to happen. But I don't think it's gonna. Yo Gamer, who just will not go away in this thing. Been fighting for the lead all day. He's in the mix now. Mark Martin, and when I first was thinking about the cars that I wanted to add, because we couldn't fill the field with all chat, one of the first cars I thought of was Mark Martin. One of the greatest drivers to never win the Daytona 500. Tony Stewart in this race as well, although his day pretty much over. Last on track, 2 laps down. Last overall, 2 laps down. Unless you count my car that has to sit in the pit lane for the entire race. That's just been shown as out all damn day. Well, really good to see that as we get down to the late stages, everything is really just tightly packed together. This is anybody's race still. You're on the lead lap, you got a chance to win the Daytona 500 as Natalie Decker will move to the front. Mark Martin seems really attached to the 60 of Travis Pastrana. Of course, both Roush cars. Now, so much for that attachment. Left him out to dry, and the 60 gonna get sucked back up into the field. Right, not even a starting park. I don't even get that honor. The red car in front you see is Jeff. He is not on, well, he's on the lead lap now. No longer. Pat in the black, number 3. Your leader, but there's so much happening there at the front of the field. 3 wide. He was able to pull away for a little bit, but it won't last. Max Verstappen in the number 87 car has had one eventful day. He's been a lap down. He's fallen through the field on a caution for some inexplicable reason. Not really sure why any of that happened. But he's up here late with a chance to win it. I feel like that's a badge of honor, though. I might be the first car ever in history to not even start in park and just sit in the pit lane the entire race. Jacques Villeneuve, your stage 1 winner. Back up at the front of the field. Squid in the 316. That is not for position, but guess what is? What a day for the 51 car. Rowdy Burns has retaken the lead. You are kidding me. I mean, nothing is impossible here in this one. Mazepin back to the front. He'll get passed by Dale Jr. Ash, target acquired. That's the closest I've seen the 46 and the 15 car of Hailie Deegan all day. What a hell of a run from the inside lane. Hailie Deegan gets pushed to the lead with 40 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Ash did get hung out to dry. She's been really, really trying for whatever reason to get that top lane to work, and it just can't right now. One of my more fondly remembered moments from the more modern Daytona duels when the 27 of Jacques Villeneuve was able to make the Daytona 500. And now up here in this race with a chance to win it late. Pat leads lap 162. Well, my car and your car, we've been close together all day, and what a moment for you. You get to push Jacques Villeneuve to the lead. I remember you specifically watching that Daytona 500 because Jacques was there. Car that wants to finish last is currently in first as the lead just continues to cycle. Keenan Mazepin backed up to the front using the lapped car of Travis Pastrana. Side by side with Dale Jr. Nothing good is going to come from this. Oh, look at the run the inside lane had on those two cars. Led by me, but I had to check up. It stops nearing the point where they're imminent. Gotta be closing in on what should be the last pit stops of this Daytona 500. Get a little bit chaotic in the front of the field. A lot of movement from the inside to the outside, trying to make something happen. Hailie Deegan once again back to the lead in the 15. Whoever would have thought we'd see a Daytona 500 led by Jacques Villeneuve and Hailie Deegan. No pit stops as of yet. Juan Pablo Montoya leads lap 165. 35 laps to go. It's really broken up at the front of the field right now. It's going to give those cars behind a great chance at a run. But with everything three wide at the front of the field, they just have nowhere to go with it. Inside lane gonna power through for the moment. Whoever thought we'd see a Daytona 500 with a McLaren in it? That's fair enough. Or a Ferrari. Jeff's out of the picture, but he is that red car right in front of Rick Mast on your screen. Whoever thought we'd see a car driven by Juan Pablo Montoya in the Daytona 500 again that isn't on fire? Everything broken up in the front right now. Dale Jr. and Villeneuve, they'll get a little bit separated, which is just going to open the door for the rest of everybody else to get a run. I don't know, maybe not. Pat pushed by Travis Pastrana, who's not even really a factor in the race. With Jacques Villeneuve in tow, they might be trying to peace out here. Get onto the back straightaway. Dale Jr. towing just a little bit. That inside lane's got to stay true right now, otherwise these three cars could certainly get a little bit of separation. Need the inside lane to have a little bit more of a run. And right now, they just do not. Oh, Pastrana! Oh, Travis Pastrana! Oh, he got back in line. Oh, but did that open the door just enough? Here comes Pastrana again. This isn't even for position. But he is completely screwed up the three-car breakaway. Look at the run, and we've got a race on again. Travis Pastrana's, at the front of the pack. It's not for position, but Juan Pablo Montoya leads. Brand new race. Ash creeping up there again. Bobby Labonte, what an eventful day he's had. 3 seconds off the pace in qualifying because he was never able to really find a drafting partner. And now Lucas, who again wasn't a factor much of the day. Up here late. We'll be out of turn 4. Labonte with a move to the outside to take the 30-lap to go mark. Smee in that pink car lurking at the back of this pack. Jeff on the outside in front of Labonte. That is not for position. However, with that toe, Labonte will regain the lead. Ash just turned it into high gear, so Labonte will drop to the inside, the 46. Back to the front. Ash trying to do the same. Oh, Pat got a little bit squirrely trying to get back in behind Ash there. Oy, oy, oy. And now Pat back to the front. Got some help from behind, Dale Jr. There are a couple cars that I do believe... Let's go actually take a look at a couple of those. Will Power and D. Kuzmic. Oh, never mind. They're just side by side. Oh, no. Will Power is side by side with Squid. That's not helping... Well, mostly Will Power. Squid, I think, for the most part, is out of this one. Evo does have some help as something happened at the back of this pack. A whole bunch of cars dropped off. Back up to the front of the field. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. We do have pit stops occurring. You knew it was only a matter of time. Pat, your leader. 36 kind of getting in the way. He tried to short pit or something, and this lead pack caught him because he really came out of nowhere. Now 27 of Villeneuve back to the front. Well, any cars come down pit road this time. When you see a big group of cars come down the pit lane, you might just wind up with your winner of this race. Assuming this thing stays green to the end. Now, there is a group of cars out here, and we talked about it a little bit earlier in Stage 3, that did pit under our last yellow flag, but can't make it to the end of this race. I don't think so. I mean, they're going to have to go 49 green flag laps. So, I mean, we are set up for an absolutely chaotic finish. The cars that look like they might win with about 10, maybe even 5 to go, I don't think are going to win. Assuming, again, we stay green. Pat has certainly come on strong here in Stage 3. Wasn't a factor for much of the day. Haley Deegan is going to ruin this little breakaway here. Once again, Pat kind of gets left out to dry. He is trying to stay pinned to the back of the 36, knowing that's not for position. It can only work for so long. Let's take a look at our top 20 for the moment. There is a 16-car lead group. Another group led by Rowdy Burns about 6.5 seconds back. Stops are still going to be what decides this thing. You can't have any problems getting onto pit road. Ash pits, I do believe, all alone. And you knew this time was coming. Dale Jr. gonna get freight trained a little bit, go a lap down. 71, I don't know what just happened there. Backed off of it or ran out of gas or what that was. 24 cars on the lead lap with 24 to go. Field of 33. There's some help. I'm not sure Ash is going to get as screwed as it really looks right now. Pat pits from the lead. Red Wings now inherits that lead. Got Max Verstappen right in behind. You really had to have something happen the next lap in terms of a whole group of cars pitting, as this is just absolute chaos here on the backstretch. Ricky Bobby really got in the way. 23 laps to go. We're starting to see those cars kind of cycle through. As more cars will pit from the lead, Max Verstappen inherits it. You're seeing those cars cycle through that pitted last time around, I do believe. As, believe it or not, the 43 is up here fighting for it. But these cars that remain out on the track right now, I really think they need a yellow in a bad, bad way. Rick Mast is going to flirt with going a lap down. It's Verstappen around the outside of him. Tony Stewart and Jeff, those are not for position. Actually, neither is Dalasai. The 4 cars you see on your screen now, only the 87 is for position. Now Lucas will join this pack. And that's about his only path to trying to take the lead away from Max is work with these lap cars. Haven't seen Bill Elliott in quite some time. Caleb fighting to stay on the lead lap for now. It won't be much of a fight. But this is all going to come around. You do have to believe. When these cars have to pit, 49 laps on fuel, they can't make it. Watch them make it, and I'm just totally wrong. Right now, the race is between Lucas and Verstappen. Jacques Villeneuve is also in here as we have 20 to go. 14 of Rick Mast, that is not for position. And the longer these cars just continue to run out here, like this, mostly too wide, we're going to, in theory, catch some more cars. Chaos going on in here. There's still cars that have yet to pit. No, not the case. Jacques Villeneuve, your new leader. Seeing Haley Deegan up here is a little bit of a surprise, but I guess she might have fought her way from the back off the last restart. Deegan with a pass for the lead. You're 2 laps down. What the hell happened to you? You didn't run it out of gas. You did go down pit road. Maybe we finally have something that you would say we have to go back and take a look at some point. Lucas retakes the lead with 18 to go. Oh no, the McLaren mechanics are playing poker. I know that's not the meme, but that's how it has to fit. And take a look who's your leader now, the 43. using the 94 of Bill Elliott to get to the front of the field. I'm just glad to see this car up here. Laps to go. There's a whole lot more organization in this group here than the group in front. Those are the cars, some of them at least, that I would expect to be contending for at least some action here towards the back end of this race, but that might not be the case. Don't think you should be getting caught this soon. Well, Tony Stewart did make up a couple places, and Tony is on the back end of this pack right here, which right now is a good place to be. They're flying around. Well, the best lap times up there for the time being. Nobody's dipped into 43-second territory. However, wait till that ticker cycles back around. Somebody did run a 44.01. Nikita Mazepin. All right, well, that doesn't matter. Haley Deegan, your leader. Never mind. Jordo back around the outside. These cars in front of this whole group here, fighting to stay on the lead lap in a way, but, I mean, at least we think. Cars, pretty much, I want to say the top 6 still have to pit. No, they have not yet. We're expecting that anywhere from, I'm expecting it anywhere from 10 to 50, or 10 to 5 to go. I just don't see a way. It'd be 49 laps on fuel. Shouldn't be possible. Ash fighting to stay on the lead lap for the time being. With the pit cycle, you just never know how things are going to go. Rowdy Burns is in the mix as well. I'm not really sure who he's linked up with. Austin, who managed to drop a couple laps in the pit cycle, and Will Power. I can't imagine that's going to be an efficient move right there. No move on the pit stops yet, however, it would be a little bit premature. I mean, they could try and make it to the end. We could have a caution because somebody ran out of gas. That's the chaos that could ensue right now. I think Rowdy Burns, or never mind, yeah, he is losing touch with these top 5. Max Verstappen back to the lead. Yo Gamer, Evo, Bill Elliott not for position along the outside. Kuzmic makes the move to the pit road, which is interesting because we know he was involved in the last yellow. Could be a signal that pit stops from these top few are coming. Unless they just want to be absolutely ridiculous and run them empty. Elliott to the pit lane. You know they're coming. We got 4 wide at the front of the field right now. Haven't seen 4 wide much of the day. Evo gets his lap back for the moment naturally. Moves to the bottom. Travis Pastrana and Gundy are actually falling now 3 laps down in the race for DFL with 11 laps to go. There are 5 cars who we have our eyes on, waiting to see when they come down the pit lane. Gundy, once again, to the pit lane, so going to lose even more time. Last car on track. We have 10 to go in this Daytona 500. For the moment, Jordo's trying to run away with this. But we know what the pit strategy is. So right now, you're thinking, it's been 39 laps. I do believe, if our math is correct, or at least thereabouts on fuel. We saw Villeneuve and Lucas drop into the pit lane, so the moves are being made. Yeah, you did war crime Gundy a little bit earlier. You and Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby, who leads this group, try to stay. Actually, he's already a lap down. Ricky Bobby not going to be a factor. 45 to 48 laps? If that's the case, it's still going to be really dicey. I mean, you got to try and push it 49. Whole bunch of cars, including Max Verstappen, to the pit lane. That leaves Jordo, just Jordo, as the only car yet to pit. And Evo's in the picture in this whole thing as well. Kind of forgot about him. Cars getting their lap back. Jordo kind of dropped out of the mix there to try and possibly get to the bottom. Is the pit stop happening this lap? Yes, it is. The 43 to the pit lane. So we got the pit strategy right. Max Verstappen is your current leader with no help. Hailie Deegan is the closest by with 7 laps to go. Your top 5 for the moment is Jordo, Verstappen, Deegan, Villeneuve, and Lucas. I guess for the moment, we'll watch our leader coming out of the pit lane. She's not going to be the leader for very long. Verstappen charging hard and does at least have a little bit of help. And help is about all you can ask for right now. Now, is there enough of Verstappen, Deegan, Lucas, and Villeneuve to hold off the hard charging pack behind? I mean, and they're a long ways back here with 7 to go. Now you got the 2 second and third place cars side by side, which is a disaster waiting to happen, but with 6 to go, being 16 seconds behind. It's a disaster, but they're making up multiple seconds a lap the way things currently stand. Oh, you are kidding. Ash has done it. And the caution flag is going to fly. Oh my goodness. Well, we are out of turn 4. have 2 laps to go in our first ever Twitch chat Daytona 500. Will we have any funny business off the restart? Or will everybody get going? It certainly didn't look like that inside lane got going very well. 2 to go. And no, they certainly didn't. And it might have been Ash that held everybody up. That's, again, like I said, one of those be careful what you wish for type deals. Verstappen to the outside. Evo's up in the mix. Red Wings. And myself, Pat, too, on the inside lane. Haley Deegan going to force a 3rd lane. And with only 2 to go, I don't know if that secondary group is going to have the time. Jordo, Evo, and Lucas trying to break away from the pack. And they might have just done it. It is indeed the final lap of the Daytona 500. Will one of those 2 cars make the move? If they do, might get freight trained, although there's not really a lot happening in behind. Down the backstretch for the final time. No moves have happened yet. Will Lucas and Evo try anything out of turn 4? No! And gonna come across the line. It's the 43 to win the Daytona 500. Well, if Ash did indeed throw that caution to save Jordo from being freight train and then completely park it off the restart, it certainly worked to perfection. Lucas will be 2nd. Evo in 3rd. Pat finishes 5th. As we are on board with the 43 that has indeed won our first ever Twitch chat Daytona 500. And you know who's asleep right now? You guessed it. And won't even know that it happened. Yep, right there. Quite literally right there. All right, so here's our answer as to how the 4 winds up running out of fuel, or at least winding up 2 laps down. He runs out of fuel mid-corner, and then just winds up parking this thing. Austin did indeed rig his own demise. I wish I could say I scripted that, but I can't. He's got the same pit strategy aggressiveness as everybody else. I mean, the 43 was fighting for the lucky dog position at the end of stage 2. Actually didn't get it. Stayed out to get the wave around in the stage break, and it winds up working. Albeit with a little bit of chaos at the end, but I mean, I'm really glad now that I made this 43 car like a week ago. That's really cool to see one that I made, and I mean, like our own damn business on the hood. That's pretty damn cool. So that is it for this Daytona 500. We will be back in April for Talladega, so expect more of the same chaos for this series. I mean, what a crazy day this was. What a crazy race. And we wound up, at least there in the end of stage 3, I really was enjoying the racing for the first time all day. There wasn't a whole bunch of chaos and whatnot. The pit stops did kind of get in the way, but before those pit stops, it was really good racing at the front of the field. So that was really fun to see.